getting ready to finish this video I'm making, I've gotten word that, or I saw a tweet from Hyojin saying that she was going to take her own life, and also heard more details that she ended up in the hospital, and also she's doing okay as we speak. And now this whole thing has spurred into really somewhat dark. I'm not trying to clown her. These are just criticisms. The main message of this video is that you cannot go around continuing to spread false allegations, because there is real consequences for this. I just want to say that these are just criticisms, nothing more and nothing less. And one final thing before I say it in the video: don't send any hate towards anyone mentioned in the video. It's the last thing that I really want to have. So here we go. It's been 3 weeks since the whole Slazo situation, and the people who supported the false accusation, or at the very least accused him of something that he is not, hasn't apologized and still continue to support the misinformation that was spreaded from Shay's Twitlonger. After the video made by Nick DeOrio, the person who interviewed Slazo along with Colossal is Crazy and Tommy C, as well as Turkey Tom, who made a video of basically giving an overview of the whole Slazo situation. And one of the people involved in Turkey Tom's video was Hyojin. Now the reason being that Hyojin was in the videos because of DM links by people who wanted to remain anonymous, saying how manipulative Hyojin is, as well as the story of her abusing a dog. Now of course these are people who remain anonymous, so these are their words, not Turkey Tom's words. This led, of course, of Hyojin making a reply to Turkey Tom's video. She said, "Your core argument for not believing in Shay was that DMs alone aren't enough proof. However, all of your points against me are also DMs, not between parties involved, but of the accuser telling you gossip. Your logic is inconsistent, and you're addressing this in bad faith." While though Turkey Tom's video is not good journalism, I would say, or it was just based off nothing but rumors, you can't help but to see the irony in the situation. You still believe in Shay, even though she lied some of her things, and you still call Slazo an abuser. Okay, makes logical sense if you ask me. Also, another thing that I would like to point out, when Turkey Tom's video came out, she made an Instagram post saying that there was a video about her with baseless rumors without proof, resulting her getting an influx of racist remarks spammed in her comments, which, one, show us proof if that's actually real, and two, in Turkey Tom's video, in the beginning of the video, he did say that these are just criticism, do not send hate to anyone. Of course, he cannot control his audience. He can only say, don't send hate. She then replied back, "If one of your close friends told you that they were sexually abused, will you not do everything in your power to help them? I didn't have a hand in writing the Twitlonger at all. I was complete moral support. The screenshot being posted of me and Quite is taken out of context." According to I'm Alex, from the source from Nick DeOrio and more people who are really involved with this whole story, I'm Alex said, according to him, that there were multiple versions of the Twitlonger. There was one version that he wrote, and I believe one version that Hyojin or someone else wrote. At first they were about to go with I'm Alex version of the Twitlonger, but then in the last second they decided to scrap that and go with the other version, more so of Hyojin's. And despite that, publicly, Alex said that regardless of the decision that everyone makes, he'll still support it. In the one screenshot that she mentions that was taken out of context, shown here, very more so looks like that they're really planning to take Slazo out. And if she says that's going to be taken out of context, if she says that this was taken out of context, then she better provide some context. Because one, it looks damning for both people who are involved. And then she did later say that she'll talk about it if she gets to it. Don't worry, it'll come a little later. But she needs to provide context in this situation. She outright calls Slazo an abuser and supports Shay, even though she lied, by the way. Like, look, if you want to support your friend, do so. But if that person has done something wrong, call that person out. In her last response, she says that she didn't abuse a dog and everyone living in that house can confirm, which she did made a response in her Twitter. Of course, I'm not going to read all the response, but the gist of it, she had two other people that is good friends with Hyojin talk about their side of how the original dog owner treated her dog, and as well as Hyojin talking about her not safe for work account, which is pretty damning, to be honest. Now, for the dog part, you can choose to believe Hyojin. To me, at least she brought up some context along with it. However, she says that her not safe for work account were meant to be jokes, not legitimate crime.
You serious?
Okay, then I guess the rest of these pictures that you drawn in your account aren't prime. They're just jokes. Okay, so I guessing the picture of Quiet banging your persona is just a joke, and the rest of these pictures are jokes. Okay. Everyone that was drawn had requested it themselves in response to a public tweet, and were all depicted as 18. Now the reason why I'm laughing is because Cabos came out after realizing that she drawn a sketch of I'm Alex receiving a, BJ from Cabos.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Leading to believe that I'm Alex probably might have requested it. Now, the drawings that some of the content creators that were involved in the drawing were underage, which is pretty creepy if you ask me. It's not only just the underage artist, but it's also her just drawing your friends, banging your persona. It just comes out odd to me, It just comes out creepy. Also, another thing that I would like to point out that I forgot, it just came in my mind. She had all this time to talk about something that is so minute about her, but she won't talk about her defaming Slazo. Like, she cares so much about her image of people saying that she sold dogs at abusing dogs or whatnot, or cheating pyrocynical. She cares about that, but doesn't care enough to address the fact that how she slandered Slazo. Like, it just comes up as disingenuous. Now, the major irony of this is that there was a leak in her Discord where she said, I think it's a serious slander issue for a guy to accuse me of animal abuse and cheating on a partner. He said he didn't accuse me of anything but placing those baseless things in a video, and at the same time insulting me is essentially sending over the mob to believe it. It's a effing crime to actually paint my image like that when it's based on nothing. A lie. Oh! So, supporting a false sexual assault allegation and painting a guy in a bad light, which is clearly defamation, legally, that's fine, because you choose to believe in your friend. But whenever there are memes about you harming a dog, somehow you want to double down and says that that was slander, not paying any attention or any mind that what you've done to Slazo alongside with your friend was also slander. Now, while Hyojin is making herself more of a fool than she actually is, a streamer known as Westerner came out and chimed in on his own opinion of the whole situation. Now, he admitted that he never knew Slazo and he never knew Shay, but he still calls Slazo a sexual abuser, even though Slazo hasn't even admitted to it. He only admitted to be a bad boyfriend and just a controlling asshole, a controlling boyfriend, which has no tone of him being a sexual abuser. It could mean a wide variety of things. All he said that he was just a controlling boyfriend, Didn't say anything about being manipulative or being a sexual abuser.
Majority of the things in my initial tweet, I still stand by. In my second tweet, I reiterated and I solidified my stance, you know. Right? I'm still not apologizing to Slazo. I'm apologizing to anyone who thought that I was calling someone a rapist. Probably should have worded it better. Right? I guess you could say I built upon what I believed. And I did partially apologize, not to Slazo, but to my community and my friends' communities for jumping the gun.
You jumped the gun, yet you still claim Slazo is a sexual abuser, which he hasn't even admitted to it. All he has ever admitted was to be a controlling boyfriend and emotionally unavailable. Like, the only reason why you're accused, the only reason why you're labeling him as a sexual abuser is because of what you saw in the video and connected the dots to yourself to point to make him as a manipulator and an abusing boyfriend. That's it. Slazo didn't admit it to be an abusing boyfriend. You made it as such.
Right? But if I wanted to get clout, I would have made a whole video on the subject. You know, I would have made a video. I would have used the R word. I would have put his face in the thumbnail. But I don't make that kind of content.
No, you wouldn't. Because if you did, you would get demonetized. And the thing about it, if your video gets demonetized, then it will be less shared. So it will be less people to see for your video if you include the R word.
Admitted to a lot of the shit he said. But yeah, I have no sympathy for that person. Do I feel bad that his dirty laundry was aired out like that? Sure. Because if I made some fucking terrible mistakes, I made some terrible mistakes in my past before I was a public figure, right? And while it would fuck me up and make me sad, it would, I wouldn't not deserve it, right? It might put my career on hold. It might make a lot of people hate me. But would I not deserve it? No, because I still, you know, while I do feel like I've owned up to those things I've done in my past, like in my personal relationships with, you know, my girlfriend and my friends from high school and shit like that.
You a bitch ass nigga.
Hey.
Like, of course Slazo shouldn't get hate for what he's done in the past. Were there bad decisions? Yes, but he shouldn't be held accountable as an adult when he did some teenager stuff. And yet, even after Shay's tweet longer has been called into question, one, you still believe in her, even though you knew that she left some things out, and you still call Slazo an abuser. And based on what Slazo did, he was a bad boyfriend. Yet you still won't forgive him. He was such a bad boyfriend. Oh no, he's terrible. He was a terrible boyfriend over the age of 16. Oh, well, my God, he's a terrible boyfriend. Terrible man. I cannot believe he did those things to a woman like that. Oh, follow me, guys. Follow me. I believe women. I believe women should be protected at all costs. Don't think for a moment that she could be lying. He was a bad boyfriend. If you are a bad boyfriend, oh, you're canceled. Canceled, I say.
Mind blowing. Well, you know, there was some shit like one thing that's really stuck with me that kind of was a huge red flag. Well, I mean, one was like the amount of jump cuts. I guess, Nicholas, you're the guy who interviewed Slazo. You have like 4 or 5K, right? It was your channel. There's a lot of jump cuts in that video. Where it was an interview on a very serious topic. I don't know if it's because you don't do many interviews and you guys BS'd in between the questions or whatever. But there's a lot of stuff where he answered the question and it like immediately jump cut. And I was like, I wanted to hear the follow-up. I wanted to hear what else he had to say. Maybe there was nothing, you know, but I don't know that as the viewer. There was one thing he said that there was an immediate jump cut right after. I believe there was an immediate jump cut. I don't have a cinematographic memory. But he said that he recommended her stop taking her anti-anxiety, because it was hurting her sex drive. And I was like, and then we immediately moved on. And that video immediately moved on from there. I was like, bro.
Like,
but what would you feel guilty about?
Being a terrible boyfriend, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How exactly were you a terrible boyfriend in your own words?
Fuck, okay, that's a...
Like, if you can't even answer the question, it's kind of telling, right?
It's very important that you answer this question because
No,
one of the
well,
things they're accusing
yeah.
him is being vague.
Yeah.
What do you
Right.
do? You tell her what to do? Do you tell her to shut up? You tell her what to do? Yell at her all the time? I mean, you got to keep
Well,
in mind
okay.
that you were 16 years old.
Yeah. Well, I didn't yell at her all the time. I couldn't. This relationship was secret from my parents, so I physically couldn't yell at her without being found out. But like she said in the thing, I didn't go there when she was on a period. I suggested at one point that she go off her antidepressant Well, I suggested she go to another one. But at other points, I insinuated that it might be a bad thing that she was on these antidepressants
Why?
for her sex drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like she said. for a long time.
So your intention was to amplify it or to decrease it?
To
To amplify it.
yeah,
All right, that's a point against you, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's messed up, but Jesus, it's nowhere near a rape allegation. And
Oh,
he has,
but I'm not
and
saying
he has,
that.
and he
I'm
has
not
come
saying
clean.
that.
He has come clean that he was not a wonderful boyfriend.
I guarantee you, Tommy is going to call me a stuck-up Brit for asking this question. But
Okay.
would you clarify yourself? Would you confirm yourself to be, Slazo, a nymphomaniac?
No.
Good.
No?
I'm not gonna lie, when Slazo said in the interview that he suggested Shay to switch to a different medication because it was hurting her sex drive, her antidepressant medication, I should say. When he suggested to switch that, it did came off as a douchey move. I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty bad move on him, and he admitted it. Also, within the interview, he looked like he didn't want to say it because he looked very, very guilty. And he didn't want to talk about it. One, because this was going to go online, and this is going to weigh him heavily. And two, this was his ultimate sin that he did as a teenager, and he felt guilty about it. And yet, people are still going to call him a sexual abuser. He admit what he did was wrong, and everyone in that call knew about it. Colossal's crazy, Tommy C, and Nick the Oreo. And plus, jump cuts. Where that's jump cuts? Are you for real? Like, come on, really? It's not like it's not like there are like 4 or 5 different questions between each other jump cut. Like, if you want the whole thing, it's gonna sound like Obama trying to give out his speech in real time. Have you ever it's like, now Slazo, have you ever been in a position where have you ever been to the position where you made yourself look like a bad boyfriend? Can you respond to that? Now, would that be a very good thing to do on a video, on an interview where they're trying to make it condensed?
I thought I would tweet my opinion, and that's basically it. I'm not going to address it in my videos. I don't feel like I need to apologize for calling someone out for being an abusive boyfriend.
He wasn't a sexual abuser. You insinuated that he was. He really isn't. He's just a bad boyfriend. Again, slander. People like Hyojin and Westerner, they made it one thing. They're not going to apologize to Slazo. They feel like they don't owe him an apology since they're not his friend, which is bullshit. What they done that is slander. They spread false misinformation, labeled him as a sexual abuser, even when in reality he was just a bad boyfriend. Now, to end it here, Dolan Dark made a response, an apology, if you would say. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically he said why he believed in Shay initially and what he came out of it as of right now. He admitted his mistakes and he apologized. And applause to Dolan Dark. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it for listening to this. On one final note, I'll leave this video here as a demonstration of that you cannot spread false accusations like this and get away scot-free.
Nikki Jovino was attending Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. She claimed the incident happened at an off-campus party, that two Sacred Heart football players pulled her into a bathroom, took turns holding her down, and sexually assaulted her. Jovino claims she repeatedly told the men she didn't want to be there, that she had friends waiting for her outside, and to please let her go. Both men admitted having sex with her, but said it was consensual. The players were not arrested, but one lost his scholarship, and both say they were pressured to leave school while they awaited disciplinary action. Then Nikki Jovino drastically changed her story, admitting in a sworn statement that she made the whole thing up because, quote, it was the first thing that came to mind and she didn't want to lose another male student as a friend and potential boyfriend. The document goes on to say Jovino hoped that when the other student heard the allegation, it would, quote, make him angry and sympathetic to her. Jovino was sentenced to a year in jail for falsely reporting an incident and interfering with police. Malik St. Hilaire, one of the players wrongly accused, says he spent 18 months trying to keep his name out of the news, but finally he felt compelled to appear at the sentencing to talk about the significance of Jovino's actions. Watch.
My life has been altered and shaped in ways that nobody here could have imagined. I just hope that, she knows what she's done, and the fact that my life will never be the same. Like, I have anxiety, I have, PTSD from this.